That should be good. But then I can't see the phone. Sorry, y'all gonna see my hairy arm real quick. Do this. Get some crap to move. This. Let me get into this. Let me mute this because I'm gonna use this to monitor. Does it actually just let me? Got it. Ah, ah. The damn. So I'm doing this on the Oneplus 9. Hey, how's it going? Apologies if I don't look at the screen because I'm monitoring on my monitor. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've done this. I wanted to wait until I got all my stuff in order here. You know, my setup and all this. And apologies if you hear my laptop doing a little bit of whizzing in the background. Um, but it shouldn't be horrendous or anything like that. So, I guess the main topic I want to talk about first here is well, we could always come back to this, but I want to talk true wireless here a little bit because the problem that I'm having right now with these right here, the problem that I'm having with these in particular is not the fact that they sound bad or anything. They don't sound bad. They don't sound bad at all. The problem that I have with them is that people are doing a little bit too much of just saying things like these the XM4s get demolished by the Liberty 3 Pros, and that's all they do. Oh, I can feel you there. I can feel why you would do that, but Campfire Solaris, good choice there. Good choice. I always wanted to mess with Campfire, but the main reason I want to test this true wireless stuff is because a lot of people are making this whole talk of the town thing with certain earbuds and then saying that you're wrong for saying one for saying that one particular earbud is the king at certain stuff, and people act as if they're saying the XM4s are the king at legitimately everything when no one is saying that. I know plenty of people that love the XM4s and say that they're the king with noise. They're one of the best with noise cancellation, and for them personally, they're the best that they've ever had. But that's all they say. But then they make it seem. But no one is sitting here saying that the Liberty 3 Pro. When they bring up the Liberty 3 Pro in particular, they completely go off the rails and just say that one pair gets demolished by the other, and I don't really understand that because I literally just recorded it. Um, I could talk an hour about Solaris. Yeah, I'm meaning to get Campfire, but their stuff is pretty pricey. But I've been really wanting to get Campfire stuff. That literally just brought up campfire headphones. Campfire mammoth. Look at what these are. That is a 549. You said the Solaris. I think the Solaris aren't too. Oh no, those are $1,500. Well, I'm gonna be fair. I was gonna buy a pair of Sennheiser IE 900s. I think they are. But I decided to just put more money into other stuff that I wanted because one, I already have the IE 300s and I love them, and two, there was more important stuff I wanted to mess with. I'm trying to find the best way to put this up so you guys can still see me and not just like my chin. So, which is slowly forming into a double chin because I need to go to the gym. But I need to get some water. Brisk will do for now. Yeah, I really, I might retitle it from Overhype to Overhype, like a question. But because the moment you make a statement like that, people start putting words in your mouth. So I'm gonna change that later on. But shit, I could probably do it right now. But yeah, in terms of this true wireless stuff, guess I can't do it right now. I'll just wait. My real problem is when they say, don't say one thing is the king because they're a name brand, but they act like Soundcore isn't a well known brand. Like, that, like people don't see a whole bunch of Soundcore stuff at Target or at Walmart. They act as if that's not the case. Whereas for the XM4s, I couldn't find them at Target. And I work at Target. I couldn't find them at Target. So, because they just wouldn't come in. And they took forever to come in. Whereas Soundcores, they're all stacked up. And it was like, it was pretty insane to see that. But it's whatever, man. Um, when it comes to all this true wireless stuff, it's nice. It's really nice to have the convenience, especially with my tone free FP9 when I put these in gaming mode and connect them to my laptop. There's basically no lag whatsoever. There's no lag whatsoever, and it's great. I really do like it a lot. That I don't have to get my corded headphones over there and plug them in to my laptop. Why is it just on top chat? I really don't like when YouTube does that. Yeah, the conven. My problem is never. I never cared about convenience personally, because the only time I really needed the convenience was for things like, say, work. Work was where I always was like, I'm never going to use corded headphones at work because they'll just get messed up. So I just decided then to go with true wireless, and that's where I went. Or not even just true wireless, like neck bands I would do too back in the day. But like the LG Tone neck bands, those are really great. Because back then, when you wanted to go true wireless, they only had like 3 to 4 hours of battery life, and that's not great. Whereas neckbands always had like 8 to 12, so it was always the way to go for me personally. But yeah, in terms of the convenience is nice, and I understand why people want that. And the sound is definitely not a problem anymore. Sound's not the problem anymore. I don't really think you can't really unless a company truly screws up the audio mixing. I don't necessarily think you get a terrible headphone now. Just true wireless earbud now. Just like you can't really find a terrible phone these days. Um, there are specialized phones that do things for certain things. There's other phones that are trying to be more general use, like say something like a Oneplus 9, and yeah, oh yeah, that's what's up. I do have the Galaxy Watch 4. I just never use it for that. Um, I gotta like accommodate. I have to make sure that I start doing that because I just don't do it. Like I know the watch can do that, but I don't know. It's never really been an issue of like say having to pick the phone up. Yeah, the Watch 4 does. I think the Watch 4 still does have Tizen, even though they like bolstered Wear OS everywhere. But it's it works. Like that's all I really care about. It works and it gets the job done, and it still interfaces very well with my with me no longer having a Samsung phone in my stable anymore. It interfaces well with things like the Xperia One Mark III. I wish Sony would make a smartwatch again. But yeah, I did have the Fossil watch. The what was that called? The Fossil. I was supposed to say Urbanite XL. That's some Sennheiser headphones. The Carlisle HR. That's what it was called. It was very nice for like $200, but gave it to my homie when I got the Galaxy Watch 4. And the Galaxy Watch 4 is still very nice. I really do enjoy it a lot, despite the fact that I don't have it on my wrist. But yeah, it has nothing to do with having to change, pick out my phone to change tracks or anything like that. Again, I could just do that on the earbud itself if I really want to. But it really has to do with things like getting the cord caught in the line and stuff like that. And with how expensive headphones can get, these are 300. The short tapes are like were like 130 when I got them. It's it's really hard for me to justify putting those in my pocket and using those for things like work. The headphones or the earbuds. Oh, the IEMs. The only 10 earbuds I have are the P1. I want to get the P1 Plus, but I only have the P1. The P2s are like way too expensive for me to justify. I don't necessarily think that especially with how a lot of people that I watch and trust weren't really feeling them like that. I was like, yeah, I'll just stick with the P1s. And then the P1 Pluses are coming out, and I kind of want to mess with those. Um, Planars, while difficult to drive on mobile, when you do yeah, the only over ear headphones I have are the Sennheiser HD 650s. I really do want another, at least one more pair of over ears, but I'm mainly an IEM person too, solely so I can use them, while commuting and stuff like that. I really do appreciate that kind of stuff. Plus, IEMs are so good now. It's not like back in the day where they would kind of sound okay, but if you really wanted the big boy sound quality, you had to go to things like over ear headphones to get that stuff. Plus, it's more intimate, and I like that a lot. Yeah, dude. It was the same when I got my short tapes. Like when I first got them, they were like very quiet. They were flat. They didn't sound so great. But the moment I like let them sit and like play music overnight, no, it wasn't even that. It wasn't even that. It wasn't that. It was the moment I took them out because I was walking while I was doing it. I took them out, put them back in my pocket. When I was walking back from where I was going, put them back in my ear, plugged them back into the V60. That's when they opened up, and I was like, "What? This is what it is? Okay." And it's very interesting how different phones make things sound differently, and it's just insane that the V60, G8, V50, V40, V30 can still sound fantastic to this day. You don't necessarily and still drive these headphones great, which is why I don't personally see any sort of benefit of going to something like an external DAC amp. Oh yeah. Thankfully, my V60 is not having any Bluetooth issues. To be fair, I'm not using it with Bluetooth all that much, but it's been a champ for that. I don't really have any that sort of. It might be. Hmm. Because that's odd. Because for me, the V60 was like the best Bluetooth phone that I had. Like, especially for a phone that also had a headphone jack. The But to be fair, it's probably because I'm also using head. I'm using tend to use IEMs, and I don't connect it to a car or anything like that. But that might actually be what it is. But when I would say certain headphones would sound better on the V60 than they would on like I'm trying to think of what the headphones were. I think I liked how the headphones sounded on the V6, the oh yeah. Um, when I had the AirPods Pro and the AirPods Max, but the AirPods Pro, I liked how the AirPods Pro sounded and Max sounded far better on V60 and the Xperia One Mark III over the iPhones. Like I really did. And if you download things like Assistant Trigger, you can basically get all the features that, aside from like spatial audio, which is phone dependent and will work with certain phones and certain songs on Android. Like say the Xperia One Mark III has Dolby Atmos, so does like this phone and things like that. But it ultimately depends. But yeah, I really do think that corded is definitely the way to go for something like a V60 because what's the point of getting this phone if you're not using that, right? What's the point? I just got my dad a V60 mainly because he's also going to use that headphone jack, and also gave him my tone-free FP8s because one, I have the FP9s. Two, they're going to go with his phone anyway, like so it just makes sense. But it's a very interesting thing to see what corded headphones really do and how they still have a very significant advantage over true wireless. Like you don't have to worry about lag at all with wired headphones. You typically get better sound. Yeah, honestly, I never paid attention to the selfie camera. That's why I never bring it up all that much. Like it's something that just doesn't come up for me. But yeah, it does. It has HDR10 plus on the selfie camera. That's crazy, dude. That is crazy. Like this phone gave you so much for $800 or $900 if you got the dual screen. It's insane to me that people just slept on the V60. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because even though Samsung touts a 40 megapixel front facing camera, it's very small. Yeah, typically you need to do that anyway, like lower the exposure, which thankfully on LG phones is easy to do. But this phone just does so much still. Still relevant. Still relevant. So is the G8. I love this phone, man. Now we're gonna go back to creaming over LG, I guess. But I love this phone. I wish I had gotten the red version, but this phone is great too. Unfortunately, I can't use it with T-Mobile, and it can't get updates anymore. It's stuck on Android 10. But I've had every single G series phone. Yeah, I have, except for the Optimus G. I've had every single G series phone. I never got the V50 because it was too close. I got the V40 too close to the V50 coming out, so I never touched the V50. So, damn, should buy me one and send it to me. I'm just kidding, but yeah, this is a yeah. The V50 and G8 just had flush cameras. It was great, and now apparently the iPhone 14s are gonna have flush cameras. Like, like really, we're just now getting to this. Like, look at that. Look at that. And this is still one of my favorite cameras on the phone, bro. Like, this is still one of my favorite cameras on the phone. Sure, it's just a 16 megapixel camera, but it still takes some of the best video out of any of the phones I have. Like, I still prefer the video on this over the OnePlus 9, mainly because I'm used to this, but the OnePlus 9 definitely doesn't take bad video. Are people wrestling in the other apartment? Like, goddamn. Wait, what? Neither of them do. The camera viewfinder on both the S21 Ultra and the iPhone 13 Pros, well, the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max, the viewfinder is just 30 FPS. The V60 is the one that has it, and I think let me check this. No, it's 30 FPS on here too, but it's actually very smooth. Like the problem that I have with the S21 Ultra with its 30 FPS is a very choppy 30 FPS. Like it's a very choppy 30 FPS, and I don't like that at all. Whereas on here, yes, it's still 30 FPS, but it's smooth. Whereas this, I'm on it and one, not on the selfie. Oh my god. Like, how do you make a phone in this day and age tout this like 120 hertz stuff and then you don't at least make your camera viewfinder feel your camera feel smoother? The reason I can handle it with like the One Mark III is because the One Mark III takes photos very fast. Like the moment I hit the shutter button, the picture is taken. Whereas on the S21 Ultra, it takes a little bit. On the OnePlus 9, it takes a little bit. On the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max, it took a little bit. But The V60 is probably going to be a good phone through 2023. Like, because I think LG knew that this was going to be their last flagship, so they were like, "We're gonna, we're gonna do this," and that's what they did. Um, and again, the phone definitely has flaws. It's not like the phone is like perfect. Yeah, it does have like their mobile Bions processor, which is insane. And I really wish I was able to get the Pro I, but it was a little, very much like very much like the from the V40 to V50, the Pro I came out a little bit too close to me getting this, so I'm like, but I already have this though. And the One Mark III is still great. It's my phone of the year. My review is gonna be. I already recorded my review. That's gonna be coming out soon. I'm gonna be uploading it. But yeah, the One Mark III. There's so much on this phone that's really good. So much on this phone that's really really good. And the moment you get to learn the phone and learn how it takes pictures, learn how it takes video, especially in the Cinema Pro app. The Cinema Pro app is something you're definitely gonna have to learn. Yeah, the the Vivo the Vivo X70 Pro Plus is the phone I really do want. I really wanted that phone too, especially since I saw it for like $800. But that phone's crazy. That for what I've seen from that phone, it's insane. But phones that I can realistically have right now, I love this one. Work hard for the money. Like, it's the only phone that actually allows you to take full resolution raw photos with its camera. Like the only other phone that comes close to letting you use manual mode with the full resolution is the OnePlus 9/9 Pro. But you can't take raw photos with it. You can only take full resolution JPEGs in the manual mode with it. But I personally think that the OnePlus 9 doesn't really need it. I feel like the colors that come out of the OnePlus 9 are really good. So it's it's really diminishing returns with that kind of stuff. But if you want, but I have done a little bit of adjusting and I've gotten very good results out of it. So I use it every now and again. I wish you could automatically save RAW and JPEGs like you can on the One Mark III. It takes up a lot of space, but since this is the 512 gigabyte version, it's not really that big of a deal for me. But you can still do that. I didn't see that. Navigation bar. Oh, that don't come up. Well, that's for pen though. I don't see it on here for me. Oh, you mean for the gesture bar? I don't use. Okay, I still use just the regular, like the navigation buttons. I don't use the nav bar, but I'll try it here real quick. Oh my God! What? Yo, yo, that is nice, man. That is really nice. I can just hide the fucking nav bar. What other phone do I have? That phone. But that phone's being used. Let me see if at least the old OnePlus 6T has it. Because I can't use the OnePlus 9 because I'm using the OnePlus 9. But the OnePlus 6T is getting long in the tooth now. It's always when I get the new version where phones decide. Oh no, the OnePlus 6T lets you do it too. Yep, the 6T lets you do it too. It's a little bit too bright, but yep, it's gone. That is a nice feature. Let me see if you can do it. I'm still gonna keep the regular buttons for you, but where is it at? Where the hell? Yeah, unfortunately, the One Mark III doesn't allow you to do that. But also, the One Mark III's bar is like very small, so I personally think it's fine. But on other phones where that thing is gigantic, like it's pretty big on this phone. Why? Yeah, it's pretty large on this phone. Also, pretty damn big on the V60 as well. It's nice that you can do that and not completely mimic Apple. Like okay, you can hide the nav bar. Wait a minute, what? Yeah, OnePlus is very nice. The OnePlus 9 is a very good phone. Um, you're not losing too much going to the 9 compared to the OnePlus 9 Pro, so it's actually very good. Like, unless you really care about a telephoto lens, it's and laser autofocus and quad HD display, and there's also a microphone on the back where the camera is on the OnePlus 9 Pro. The only reason I know this is because I looked at the back of my homie's OnePlus 9 Pro, and I was like, oh, so these are the differences that are here. And it's obviously a bigger phone too, but the OnePlus 9 is a really good phone. Can't really go wrong with it. I do have my issues with it. Like, I don't think I like adaptive refresh rate 120 hertz displays. I really don't feel like I like it on phones. I feel like no, I'm gonna stop saying I feel like I don't like it. I don't like it because the problem that I'm having with it is I'm seeing that when having a static one like you have on the One Mark III, that you have to turn on when you first get the phone. But when you turn on 120 hertz and you go and start using it, um, it's it's far smoother in like apps like YouTube and with apps that populate the screen with a whole bunch of like say stuff and have to load in stuff like Reddit or something. It does a far better job of making sure the phone doesn't hitch or lag. So, whereas when it does it on say a phone with an adaptive refresh rate display, it hitches and it just looks very weird. Like the Xperia One Mark III is a very fast phone. I feel Sony was like, let's just make this phone fast. I listen to a lot of rap and hip hop. Um, I don't. I like all music, but I grew up with rap and hip hop, so it kind of just stays in my rotation. In particular, like rap hip hop from like the South of America, obviously, um, things like that. That's nice. That is very nice. But yeah, I just listen to a lot of like old stuff as well, older stuff as well. I don't hate a lot of I don't like a lot of new stuff. There is some new stuff I do like obviously the usual suspects, J Cole, Kendrick Lamar, people like that. I'm cool with in terms of rap hip hop, but a lot of this stuff I'm just not really feeling. But I have some Metallica things like that in my Metallica. What is the other band I'm fucking forgetting? I don't know how I'm forgetting it. Black Sabbath. That's the name of it. I did it as I was. I did it as I was loading the playlist up. But LG and like Meridian do a very good job with each other. Like that's probably why they basically stick with them with all their audio products. Like these are tuned by Meridian. The I believe from the V40 to the V50 and G7 and G8, they were all tuned by Meridian. The only phone that's not is the V60. Yeah, Meridian is does a very good job at giving you very spacious audio with clear vocals and like especially with these surprisingly good, very good bass as well. Which for the music I listen to, that's very important. Bass that's not bloaty, bass that doesn't sound that doesn't mess with the vocals or anything like that. I really do like that a lot about how Meridian tunes their stuff. A lot of audio brands are from around like the UK and Europe and all that stuff. It's very interesting. Like I really, it would be interesting to see some Meridian headphones. Oh yeah, OMA. I think I know who that is. I think USA is king when it comes to like maybe speakers and stuff like that. When it comes to like dedicated like headphones, they're definitely coming with heat now. But as I was growing up, I never really heard of stuff like things getting into the tier of like the big boys from the US. But now with like Abyss headphones coming in the mix and killing shit in a lot of other places, a lot of other audio from the US coming into the fray, it's just nice. Yeah, Japan has a lot of stuff. Like it's very funny because it's pretty much it's always the same. It's always the usual suspects when it comes to tech, whether it be cameras or like music and all that stuff. It's pretty much the same stuff. Well, yeah, Sony. I have a Sony sound system down here that I need a subwoofer cord for that my dad gave me, but that thing is nice. That thing is very nice. Um, Sony basically started out in audio. Like, apologies, you're gonna hear me drink it. Yeah, isn't it's very nice to see. Isn't Anchor an American company? Since they do audio now too, and they're getting pretty big in this space. No, Anchor obviously owns Soundcore, so it was it Germany? Did I just see that? Or am I? Oh no, it's China. China. Yeah, it's very interesting to see where a lot of these companies come from, man, and to see them actually get along with a lot of this shit. Because competition grows even when you team up with another part of your competition. China had to do the old Trump. But yeah, I'm trying to diverse myself in terms of like what I get in terms of audio, but I had to go with the tried and true Sennheiser for a little bit. And I really do like these IE300s. The only thing I don't like about them is the cord. I wish the cord was better. Oh yeah, we ain't gonna talk about that here, but oh yeah. Yeah, I know. I just don't like it because while it is an MMCX connector, right? It's deeper than say my short tapes, so I can't use that cord with this, which is a cord I really do like. So I gotta buy another cord. The cord is just like too short. That's my main problem with it. It's too short, and it does suck that that's the case, but and it's a little bit too like lanky. I feel like for $300, Sennheiser you could do a little bit better. Do a little bit better. Yeah, I never had. A lot of people tend to have problems with MMCX connectors. They say like the durability gets a little bit shoddy over time, but I feel like I just never had that problem. The only problem that I've ever had was with my 10P1 cords, where the cord just stopped working. So I had to get on. So I just have to use whenever I want to use those. I just use my short tape cord, and I love that cord. I like that cord better anyway. It just has it's more durable. Why not just buy another cord from Solaris or from, not from Campfire? I mean, I, I meant to buy a cord from Campfire, like a new one, because I really wanted that smoke black cord and connected it to my short tapes. I really did want that. So, oh yeah, right, and that's why I didn't do it. I was like, hey, that's $400 for a cord. But now, hold on. The one I saw where I was like, okay, that's more reasonable. Like, let me see here. Shop all cables. The Smoky Lits cable is $69, which is the one I was looking at. See, I got so used to the regular nav buttons, I tried to press it. I forgot I switched it over to the gestures. But yeah, I'd rather fixing it's gonna be cheaper. Like, I just advise you to do that because I wouldn't necessarily just like spend another 69 or $400 on a cord. Like, nah, that's not right. Like, I have, and I'm doing it again. I'm trying to press the damn. I'm trying to press the notification, the recent apps button to get to it. Oh, they're on sale, 49 down from 99. Come on, Campfire. Oh, and they're L shaped. Can you change that? I'm not really a fan of L shaped cables. I prefer the straight connection. Look, OnePlus 6T, I love you, bro, but you're gonna have to move real quick. I need an armrest. Um, $350 for a fucking cord. What? I better be able to hear God with that cord, bro. Like 350. That's $50 away from getting the discless PS5. Like what? Or the all digital PS5. I'll just say that. Like, yeah, 99 is fine. 99 is totally fine for a cord. It's just, especially if it's a high quality cord. But when you go up even more to like what I was just saying, $350, yeah, that's not like, yeah, I get that. I understand that. Me too. That's definitely what I like to do. But if it's in your technical know how, obviously fix it. Like the SD card in my V60 is failing a little bit, so I'm definitely gonna have to get a new one for that. But all I'm really doing now is just saving all my videos on the SD card. I mean, on the internal storage. And then when I don't, and I'm not gaming on this anyway, or doing anything truly intensive aside from recording video, so it's like the only things that I'm glad didn't get messed up was my music. So yeah. What's good, Dish? How's it been going, man? Oh man, I'm gonna need to get water here real quick. I probably need to fill my jug up. So let me turn this light on. Sorry for walking away from the camera the moment you get in, but you need water. I'm a sipping this brisk. Just got out of work. How was work? Yeah, I gotta get a new job here quick. Um, they've been messing with my hours, which is funny because I'm one of their best workers, but you know how it goes. Yeah, we just went off on a tangent about corded stuff, and oh, so it's 12:32. 12 hours a day. God damn. That's very funny because my homie, he was looking for another job because he might have been like leaving UPS, but he got a job. He got hired for Target distribution, and his first day they're making him work 12 hours. He's already like, man, I'm not doing that because he'll basically have no time to himself. So that's really funny. But yeah, so far the sound cores are very overhyped. It's actually kind of sad to see. Like, and I'm not trying to sit here and say that they're bad. They're definitely not bad. But I was supposed to say, where my XM4s go? I'd say in terms of a lot of this, it's very hit or miss with what a lot of reviewers like to say. And I don't want to sit here and say that I don't trust any of them. And I know it's basically for the money you're getting all of this stuff and good. I would say good sound. They sound good. It's just a lot of these people were saying, "Oh, I had to tune the Sonys with the EQ to be able to get a sound I liked. I had to do the exact same thing with these to get the sound that I liked." Whereas with the Sonys, I was totally fine with them. I did do a little bit of EQing, but it wasn't like to the point where I would always use it because I really didn't. I typically would just keep it on the default EQ. Whereas on these, I would typically just leave them on the immersive mode, and it's always been a treat. I should charge those. The only issue is like well, it's getting a little bit warm under the monitor. Not that much. Nah, no, it ain't. But yeah, like I'm not gonna say too much because the comparison's gonna be coming soon. But well, yeah, I know that. But a lot of these people I tend to trust with a lot of this stuff, and I tend to have very similar, like one music taste, and two, when I typically get what they say is good, I tend to like it too. So, but I also have started to veer away from that and go towards this, veer away from that and go towards what I know I'm going to like more. Which is why you don't see me review every single true wireless earbud that comes out or every single phone that comes out because it's like one, that's expensive as it's expensive. It's expensive. And two, maybe I'm just not going to be feeling it as much. And sure, I could literally just give these to somebody else if I really don't like them. But again, I do like them. It's just, it's not this godlike experience that I feel like a lot of people are just saying that they are. They're not moving worlds and planets. Like, and I don't even necessarily feel like there are any earbuds that are really doing that for me. It's just, especially in true wireless, I feel like if they're doing it, they're doing it. If they're not, they're not. Yeah, God, yeah, but those are corded, and corded and true wireless can't necessarily be compared in the same way. It would be very, it would be very interesting to see Campfire do a true wireless set. It's always interesting to see these like typically wired companies go go true wireless. Like 10 did it recently. Yeah, I just tend to when I really want to listen to something that's very high quality, I just tend to use the music library that I have that are in FLAC, some in DSD, and thankfully this phone can actually play DSD files. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah, that's all. I think there's going to be the conversation for a while when it comes to true wireless. At 10 megabits per second, um, will be very nice. But that's also going to depend on how good. Like it could always be the quality of a wired headset, but if the tuning is not great, that's what's going to make or break a lot of earbuds. I dropped my one Mark III. I dropped my one Mark III. That hurt. That really hurt. It's good though, and I do have a screen protector in the case on it. But what am I looking for again? Oh yeah, I'm trying to see what albums I have in DSD. I think I have The Weekend After Hours in DSD, Nipsey Hussle Victory Lap, maybe Starboy by The Weekend, and that's pretty much it. It takes up a lot of storage, so I've been very conservative about what I put in DSD, and I had to do it on my older laptop since that does have a disk drive. But Pixel 6 Pro is legit. I've been hearing very mixed things on the Pixel 6 Pro, and again, there's been a lot of people sitting there saying, "Oh, the benchmarks aren't great, so the phone ain't great." But it hurt a little bit. But the phone itself is totally fine. Um, there's no dings, no scratches. Um, still in full form. Just had to double check the camera lens. I would have went with the regular Pixel 6, honestly. Like I think I'm starting to do that now when companies start calling stuff Pro. Is when they call something Pro and just put like two extra features on it. Like I'm gonna just go with the regular one. Like, but yeah, I really didn't want to mess with the Pixel 6 Pro or Pixel 6, but I decided to go Oneplus 9, which is definitely not something that I feel is bad at all, especially with a few things that I feel Google is doing that I don't necessarily like. I don't like that they're they physically like crop the sensor to 12 megapixels from a 50 megapixel, and they're still calling it a 50 megapixel sensor. I don't necessarily fit. Or did they do it physically or is it digitally? I think it's digitally. Does battery last all day on the Sony? It depends on what I'm doing on it, honestly. If I'm mixing gaming with a lot of basic stuff, then it'll at least last me to like, okay, so what time is it right now? It's 4:43, and it ultimately depends on when I wake up to. Um, so I woke up at like 11 today, I think. Fully woke up at like 11. I took the phone off the charger when I woke up at like 8. But the phone so far has lasted me all day, honestly. But I also don't have my SIM in here, and there are days where it definitely does last me all day. There are days, depending on what I'm doing, that it doesn't. But it also depends on if I have the screen at max brightness or how much I gamed that day or things like that, or if I use the camera hefty in a hefty manner. That those are what ultimately determine whether or not the battery is like horrendous or not. I wouldn't necessarily say the battery life is ever horrendous. It's like I can definitely make this phone last through a full day. I've had it for it last like at least a day and a half, and I had to charge it halfway through the next day, and it's been totally fine. And again, with the given the screen and how thirsty the screen is, it's very nice. My community tab, I did show that it can at least get 8 hours to 8 hours and 39 minutes streaming YouTube. It can do 4 hours 11 minutes auto grinding. King of Fighters All Star. Those are very good numbers for me personally. I feel like Sony did a very good job. Plus, there's a lot of different battery stuff that you can do with this phone in the settings, like limit the battery to 80% if you really want maximum battery life and battery longevity throughout the amount of time that you have the phone. You can have it to also fully charge at a specific time. Things like that is very nice. If the battery numbers for gaming do indeed worry you, turn on HS power control on the game. And I'm looking at the monitor, but turn on HS power control on the game, and you can play it no problem and not have the battery go down at all. It's very nice. I think Sony did a very good job. That would be interesting. Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with like Apple's own apps crashing. I didn't really look into that. I think I maybe had that happen 1 or 2 times when I had the 13 Pro Max, but it wasn't like to the point where I'd say I really did want to make this a video, but I no longer have the 13 Pro Max, so I couldn't make it a video at the time. But Apple's doing some really weird stuff when it comes to this 120 hertz. When it comes to this 120 hertz stuff, where the phone is actually does actually have a 120 hertz panel, and I know people are like, oh, but it is an adaptive refresh rate. I know that, but every other phone that I have that has an adaptive refresh rate display doesn't feel like 60 frames per second when you're doing regular scrolling. It felt very jittery on the iPhone and very slow. And it just so happens that even in their own UI, they limit it to like 60. And then they make it to where app developers, which this is a thing on Android as well, but app developers have to manually set whether or not they want the their app to run at 120 hertz. Really is. It takes for like it takes for like something gate for Apple to actually fix something sometimes. That really doesn't make sense to me. Was this gonna be frame gate now? Like it's gonna be really weird to see what happens after such a long time with this stuff. Because I'm gonna say this on the iPad Pro M1, I even compared it side by side. And the iPad Pro M1 with the Pro Motion display actually runs like way smoother. It actually felt like 120 hertz, whereas on the iPhone it felt like 60 hertz, and it was weird. But yeah, it's really interesting to see what happens. I'm searching on Pixel 6 Pro phone also. Google cameras crashing. With Google, I don't know, because it's very weird. They are using a new sensor, so that could be a part of this stuff. Um, a lot of people are having kind of some ire when it comes to this. The problem with the adaptive refresh rate is that it's it only adapts when you're not touching the display. So it's like, what is the and then the moment you touch the display, it instantly jumps back up to 120 hertz. I wish they would just give you a target, be like, okay, I wish they'd give you more options. Be like, okay, you want 60 hertz, stay here. Which out of the box it does. I think it does come at 60 hertz. I don't remember. I haven't touched the S21 Ultra in a while. Brand new, fresh out of the box. So I don't remember. I know it comes at 1080p out of the box, but um, the what's I about to say? I wish they at least gave you a 90 hertz option. I wish more manufacturers would do that. It's mainly just gaming phones that give you that. They like, look, we have this whole 144 hertz option, or you can go down to 90 hertz if you want it. Good EQ. I just use the immersive mode with the FP9, honestly. Um, for the music I listen to, that works the best. I haven't really EQ'd any of these LG earbuds since the FN4 because the FN4 had like no bass. It was basically just a clean headphone, clear headphone, flat with clear, clean vocals, and that's it. Whereas the FN7s had the bass and it had everything else the FN4 had, but with bass and with noise, and with noise cancellation and all that stuff. I do have USB Audio Player Pro. I just don't use it. The problem that I had with like the V60 is that it would override what LG does with the quad DAC, so it would like mess with sound and make things sound funny and not allow the quad DAC to fully power headphones and stuff like that until you like finagle with some settings and then it would decide to work no problem. It's a finagle. Like, I'm a mom now. Like, but mess with some settings. I forgot what the settings were, but let me I should try that on this phone. Should try USB Audio Player Pro on here. Yeah, I'm becoming a with a look, man. I need something. I need something. Yeah, it uses it, but the problem is that sometimes it would like act all janky with like my V60, and I had to go into the settings and turn some stuff off. But after I did that, it worked just fine. Automatic. Yeah, immersive mode is just like it's the best setting on the FP9. Like, and that's not saying that oh they just sound bad. Like no, they sound great with immersive mode. Like even the bass boost mode just doesn't sound as good with bass as the immersive mode does. It's very weird. But yeah, oh, they have a true dark mode now. This nigga's stupid. Oh fuck. Oh no, I can't do this. I'm streaming. Oh man, gotta love it. You gotta love it. Political jokes, you gotta love it. But what title is not gonna be using the quad is not gonna be utilizing the quad DAC anymore. It's kind of weird. I mean, it isn't because the V60 is a phone that LG phones are no longer coming out, and I assume that their partnership is ended, so that's probably why they're doing that. But that was lit. The V6, the V20 was literally the first phone they capitalized on this with. Was this whole like you could stream title at full quality on the LG V20 with the quad deck. That is whack, bro. That's whack. That's all. That's honestly what makes me not use title. It's like their support for stuff is very shoddy, and there's what made me be like, you know what? I'm not really gonna use title like that anymore. But I just use Apple Music. I use Apple Music, and I know YouTube Music is like a sin to a lot of people, but that's where a lot of my music is, and it tends to have music that Apple Music doesn't have. So, oh yeah, that's probably the. I keep going to my V60 as if my mouse is plugged in because my mouse is literally right there, but I'm using the trackpad. Yeah, USB Audio Player Pro is probably the best way to do that. Then, because Audio Player Pro is really good for stuff like that. I know very insightful information I just put there, but let me turn this down so I don't get struck. Okay, just do it. Oh, that's the FLAC version. This one wants me to. Sorry, I'm trying to find. It ain't even bring me. It ain't even give me all my albums though. Really? Whatever. It's fine. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Give me 1 second here. We're gonna larger sensor phone here. I should take pictures of this shit. So. You just know how to deal with how I take it. It came out clean. No, I did not want to move it to the damn trash. I just took the picture. Like, I don't give a damn who you want to show. me? Where the hell is you at? You're supposed to go grocery shopping. Did you really go to the city? It's dangerous out there. Apologies, I had to. Hey man, fuck you. Jesse, I know you watching. You better say something. Trolling me in the chat. I wanted to try Deezer. I just never got around to it. I tried Quobus too, but at the time it didn't have a lot of the music that I wanted. So it ultimately just comes down to library. It never has to do with quality for me. That's why I don't necessarily care when it comes to like. Yeah, I don't get. Google is so weird, man. Like they'll they'll add all these features to Android just for their phone not to have it. Like desktop mode, their phone doesn't do desktop mode. Phones can mount external storage as main storage. Their phones don't have an SD card slot. Like I don't understand it, bro. Never got it. Never understood it. This this boy. Oh wait, he can't go to the chat because he's on his goddamn projector. I have a lot of 32-bit flack. It took quite a bit to get to that point, but I ended up finding a way to do it. What the fuck keep vibrating, bro? Well, they don't need to sell it. I think what they can do is just make it available for every phone on the Play Store for free, and then that way they can use that data for computational photography, which I know is very dystopian, but they can use all that data to make their camera app better for their phone. You just want to buy everything though. We can't just well tell Apple to do better with HDR. That's all you got to do. Like HDR performance on iPhone is very shoddy for pictures. Like a genuine Google camera. That would be interesting. I don't see it happening, but that would actually be interesting to see. That would very much be interesting to see. Google, like, we're just gonna make a separate camera, a separate AI camera, which this wouldn't be the first time. Olympus pretty much that was pretty much Olympus's shtick in the dedicated camera world, where they had a lot of AI kind of modes going on and all this stuff, and it was crazy. So it's not like it can't happen. It's just would Google do it? For for albums that I like a lot, I for albums I like a lot, I buy physically and I back them up in FLAC on my the laptop that actually has a disk drive. Yeah, I don't like using Gcam on other phones. I don't understand why people make it seem like the moment you put Gcam on your V60, your camera becomes instantly better. Oh, like it just never made sense to me why people say that because it's just not true. Well, there is sites like I forgot what the site was, but I remember I tried to buy an album. It didn't really work out. Yeah, that is what it is. It's like that's the problem with me and Google too. Is like the Google, YouTube music is like garbage in terms of quality. It's not garbage. It's like it's not as good. Anyone who says YouTube music is garbage. It's not really garbage, especially if you're listening to it on good enough hardware. It'll bolster it up enough to where it's serviceable. But YouTube music it pales in comparison to Google music. Google music was far better. Like it sounded better. It had more. It had better features. For one, like I could actually move around songs on my playlist to where I want them. Where I just can't do that anymore. Like, oh, this camera's overexposed, and I can't even adjust it because it's YouTube Live. Yeah, but if I can get an auto malware, bro, I'll download that on my phone. Oh no, I use YouTube Music. Like, I'll show you. I literally use YouTube Music all the time. Like, my playlist is right here, and it's of course going to be terrible looking because I have it at max brightness. But I use YouTube Music all the time. Like, look at that. So I'm not saying it's just yeah, it's because the Google Music plugin doesn't work for YouTube Music. I wish USB Audio Player Pro could make it to where it's just a YouTube Music plugin now. That would actually be very nice. But yeah, it does suck that we just can't get that. But at least I can just download all the music, all my music play, my entire music playlist onto there, and really have no problems. Yeah, I know. Um, what's the problem I'm having right now? I tried to download my playlist on the Oneplus 9. It won't let me because device limit. And I really hate that. I really hate that they still have that in place. It's music, bro. Like I've downloaded a lot. I've downloaded how much? How many things have I downloaded on Apple Music? Plenty. All this stuff I have downloaded on Apple Music. I have on multiple devices, right? I've downloaded on multiple devices. They don't give me no damn device limit. And Apple always talks up security. So I don't understand why that's a thing on Google Play or YouTube Music. I gotta send this on. Still wiping ass on eco friendly carpet. Did I send the damn DNG? God damn it. That's a JPEG. It's just being stupid. It's probably doing that because I'm streaming, but whatever. It may be encrypted, but I don't think it has any sort of device limit on it. Because I have Apple Music on here. I had it on here. I have it on the G8. I don't have it on the OnePlus 6T because I don't use the 6T for music or at all much really, but you know whatever. Have it on the OnePlus 9, and I'm able to download music no problem. So, and I was able to do it on the S21 Ultra no problem too. So it probably just has to do with some random crap that they're doing, that device limit crap that I just don't understand. Why is it a thing? People have a music to USB drive and play it in the car. I think it's just smartphone only. Oh, great. No, this is being stupid. Google likes to take apps that were perfectly fine and make a new app, but then make it shittier. There we go. I think, yeah, like I said, I think you could only do smartphone only. Well, I've never done that, so I personally don't know. But yeah, I think you could just only do it like that, just through just through the app itself. Yeah, I get that, but you also need to realize Apple is a primarily smartphone centric company, and they want everything to be done on their devices. Well, aside from the fact that they have these on, aside from the fact that they have Apple Music on Android now, but their Android app is actually honestly pretty shoddy as well. So yeah, I don't really know them because they most likely do it. They definitely do it because security reasons, and they don't want people to do stuff like that, which is I get, but it's honestly it's honestly the only thing you can do, I guess. But yeah, this fucking all this stuff is very odd in terms of this streaming services stuff. It's just like it boggles the mind to say the least. Yeah, a lot of title stuff is very like 2000s ish. So, which is not a bad thing at all, but it ultimately depends on the music you like to listen to. Uh, yeah, and of course you had all the Jay Z stuff on there because Jay Z owned title. So at one point, I don't think he does anymore, but or co-owned it or some shit. But yeah, I think now I want to talk more OnePlus 9, and unfortunately, I am using it to record this, or not record this, to do this live video. And I guess now I can check the warmth and the battery. It went from 70 to 47%. And how long has this been going on? Let me check. He ain't even playing, bro. Let me refresh. 90 minutes, so an hour and a half. Once again, stop with the top chat. Do live chat. But yeah, this stuff. Yeah, a lot of good music in those times. I don't understand why Tidal doesn't have. Again, licensing and all that stuff, and they are technically the smaller player, but it's, I guess it's whatever. But talking OnePlus 9 now, overall, how has this quality been in terms of the camera? For me, it looks actually quite good. Like I've always said, like I said, the OnePlus 9 overexposes a little bit, but I also do have this lamp on, like literally right by me, so that could be aiding into it, but it looks totally fine. Um, the sound, the mics I like on this phone quite a bit. Obviously, you're not going to be doing anything like going outside in a windy day and recording video with just the cameras, with just the phone's mics. But I tried that; it was terrible. But yeah, in terms of saying, let's talk overall experience so far. Um, the sorry, what something's literally on the TV right here on the side. But overall, the user experience has been pretty damn good. Um, the overall feel of the phone is very nice. Again, I was going for a phone. I was going for a phone that was. I'm gonna stop this because now it's distracting me. But do that. I wanted a phone to replace my OnePlus 6T that wasn't like too far off from the OnePlus 6T, and this phone honestly has been getting my expect keeping my giving me exactly what I wanted, and I really do like that a lot. The battery life so far has been really good. I think yesterday I haven't charged the I didn't charge the phone for 2 days, so it was like I had 48 hours of overall usage of it being off the charger and like 8 hours of screen on 8 hours and 47 minutes of screen on time, which is really nice. I don't have the 65-watt charger that comes with the phone because I got it through Amazon Renewed, so that's why it was like $600, which is very nice. But I have been using my LG V60 charger, and I went back to my mom's, got my G8 and OnePlus 6T, and brought the 30-watt charger that came with my OnePlus 6T, and both of those charged the phone fast enough. Honestly, it's not like I have a really hard time with people constantly saying that our phones need to charge faster and faster and faster. Like, do you really need your phone to charge in 20 minutes, bro, from 0 to 100? Well, it's 720p because YouTube caps live streams at 720p. So that's why it's only at 720p right now for mobile live streams. But honestly, it still looks quite good. Well, a lot of these phones are old. Like, I still have a OnePlus 6T because I had the OnePlus 6T back when it was new. I still have the G8 because I had the G8 back when it was new. I bought the V60 because it's the V60, and my dad needed a new phone, so when I got the V60, I gave him the V40. Jesse, you know why? Don't come in here. Don't come in here acting like you can just You can just expose me live in 4K, bro. Well, I guess live in 720p, but it's I have all these phones because I like technology mainly, but also, honestly, it goes with the channel. The channel's called Sparta's Tech Reviews. I should at least have a good amount of phones and to give me a good experience as to what each phone can do, and that's why I have these still, I guess. But yeah, overall, where was I at with the OnePlus 6T? Yeah, the battery life is really good. It's like, especially for a phone with a 120 hertz screen, and it still has a 1080p display, but it is still a really high refresh rate screen. Yeah, but the S21 Ultra came around back when that stimulus crap was happening, so I really had, I was really on the point of like, I may as well get it right now, right? The Xperia One Mark III I got because, like I said, I wanted this ever since it was announced. V60 I got it because it was the V60, and yeah, just say you're going to freckle bitches, bro. People know that. People should know that Saints Row reference. Oh no, it's fine. I get it. But if I'm gonna just say this, if it wasn't for me starting this channel, I probably wouldn't have this many phones at all. I probably would maybe just have two. But I still feel like it's kind of pushing it for 2020, 2021, going into 2022, because phones have gotten so good. But yeah, Dex is really nice. I used it very little, but Dex is a very nice desktop mode to have. As being one of the first to come, it's actually very nice, and I hope Samsung doesn't axe it like they've been axing. First off, boy, no, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Don't come in here talking smack, bro. Don't come in here talking smack. Plus, you act like I keep them and don't be handing them down to y'all or something. Don't be giving y'all new shit. But yeah, whatever. Yeah, Dex is really a really good desktop mode. More phones need to have desktop modes. I don't understand why they don't. LG, it's good that LG at least upped their game with that before they left the market. Um, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Yeah, okay, bro. I'll see your ass tomorrow with that shit. But it's yeah, in terms of that, more phones definitely need desktop modes. It's really nice to have. This cat keeps rubbing her damn face on this box. I can't. It's distracting, but it's a live video, so I'm gonna stop. Um, Battery life insane. 1080p 120 hertz really nice. The only problem I have with the 120 hertz is due to the fact that it's variable. It's adaptive. In YouTube, the overall like scrolling and the experience is very choppy. It's honestly kind of weird. In apps like Reddit, it's pretty much the same way. Sometimes it's smooth, other times it's choppy as all hell. Um, Whereas on the One Mark III, I don't really have that problem at all because it's a static 120 hertz and it just feels smooth all around while I unlock the phone. Um, the cameras on this phone are really good too. The Hasselblad partnership is not just a gimmick. It's not just a name brand type thing where they just literally stamp it on the back of the camera and call it a day. It isn't like how it was with that Moto mod back in the day where they gave that zoom lens for the Moto Z, whatever the hell, which one that was, the Moto Z3 or whatever the hell it was. It's not that. its color science, its overall quality is really good. 48 megapixel main sensor that does crop down to 12, so you're not getting the full width of the sensor just using it in its base mode, but you can't get that full 50 or 48 megapixel goodness when you do go into the full JPEG mode, full 50 mode. And that works with both auto mode and manual photo mode, so that's really nice. The 50 megapixel wide angle lens is really good too. It's really crisp, sharp. It's just nice. And going with the color science of the phone overall, having more natural tones and all that stuff, the wide angle is like probably my favorite wide angle on the phone. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. It's definitely my favorite wide angle on the phone right now. Especially since most wide angles just cap out at like 12, 12 or 10, with the exception being like a V60 or a G8, which have 16 megapixel wide angles, I think. No, the G8 has a 12, a 13. I think the V60 has a 16, or at least a 13 as well. I don't remember. It's been a bit. But yeah. Photos on this phone are really good. Video is good as well. I really do wish it had a manual video mode. It just doesn't have that. But the overall quality, the stabilization, the software stabilization is very nice. I really do feel like they do that very well. The mics are very good, so long as you're not in a very windy area. um, and overall, it's just a satisfying experience to use. It does cap you at 5 minute clips for 4K 60 video, so that sucks. But I'd rather have that than have it be like the S21 Ultra, where the S21 Ultra will just randomly decide where it cuts you off for a clip, depending on how hot the phone gets. So I'm totally fine with them doing that, and it tells you right up the jump, 5 minute 4K 60 or 4K 60 clips capped to 5 minutes, and that's totally fine. I really do like that a lot. I kind of wish it was kind of like the V60 where you can record past its limit. It'll just save multiple clips in that one video. Even though that does kind of, on the phone itself, it doesn't, it's kind of wonky. But when you send it to another phone, it's totally fine and really have no issue with that whatsoever. Oh, excuse me. What else is there? Um, I kind of made this a OnePlus 9 review. Didn't really mean to make it that, but still got a few more things I want to work out when it comes to this. The selfie camera, as you guys can see here, is serviceable. It's good for video. 720. I think it only goes up to 1080p. No, it goes up to 4K, I believe. I can't check now because obviously I'm using it, but it so far for live streaming it looks fine. It looks about on par as it does with the as it did with the as the S21 Ultra did, so that's totally fine. Really have no issues with the quality whatsoever of this. I don't use selfie cameras. I don't take selfies, so I can't sit here and like say, "Oh, look, it just doesn't. The skin doesn't look as smooth." I don't care. Like so long as it looks, so long as it can do this, fine. I'm cool with it. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say so far. I want to give it a little bit more time. It has my SIM card in it. It does do 5G and it does it very well. It stays connected to Wi-Fi very well as well. Like for whatever reason, this phone could literally go to like the first floor of my apartment. I'm on the fourth floor. I go down to the first floor. It'll still stay connected to my Wi-Fi. It's very weird because no other phone does that. So very strong Wi-Fi reception and connectivity, and a very stable connection overall. Um, Things I really don't like. I don't like the gaming, the game center, because it doesn't really do anything. It really doesn't do much. Like I think I'm spoiled by the Xperia right now, where you can do a lot with that gaming mode. You can't really do much with the gaming mode on the Oneplus 9. It it pretty much is like, oh, it acts as a game folder, and oh, it tells you it's into a gaming mode, but all it really does is shut off notifications and whatnot. And I don't necessarily feel like that's useful for me personally. Um, in terms of gaming, the Xperia One Mark III is definitely going to be a better option for that because you could do all of that. Plus, you can set it to go up to a 240 hertz touch sampling rate and all that stuff. You can set the amount of sensitivity the screen is at. You can do a whole bunch of different stuff with this. Put on HS power control so you can literally game for hours if you want to do that. Um, like I said, more phones need that. Next time around, OnePlus, if you want your phone to also be good for gaming, add that as well. These type of features should not just be for gaming phones. It just doesn't make sense that gaming phones figured this out, but regular phones, nah, nah. But at least Sony is making that conversation a little bit more with stuff like that. Bluetooth reception is very nice as well. Really have no issue with that. And yeah, that's all I really got to say about the OnePlus 9 without making a completely full review. Very good phone. I'm satisfied with the phone whatsoever. I don't really feel like I'm missing out on much when it comes to not getting the Pro because it really didn't have much that I wanted anyway. So, yeah, that's very nice indeed. OnePlus 9, really good phone. Really good phone indeed. Ooh. And I'm going to be coming out with a comparison between the OnePlus 9 and the One Mark III in the coming days. I just have to re record it because ramble boys, I'm a rambler. And I talk a little bit too much about shit that doesn't really need to be talked about that much. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing that over again. Xperia One Mark III review, again, is coming. I literally recorded it, it's on here, and I'm going to be putting it out. I'm going to be uploading it literally right after I'm done with live streaming here because I don't want that to be capping my quality on here as well. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. I think I'm going to call it now because this phone needs to charge. Um, the dogs need to go out, and I want to game a little bit and watch my podcast. I literally missed one of my podcasts today live because I decided to do this, which I'm fine with. I'm not mad about it. It isn't like they're gonna make it go down or anything. But yeah, I really do appreciate y'all coming by when y'all did. I really do. This is Sparta. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for the support. Um, actually, I can stay on a little longer. Fuck it. Cowboy Bebop live action is out on Netflix. Yeah, I know. I know. I don't know how I feel about it quite yet. Now I can stay on a little bit longer to talk about a couple more things. I'm not like, oh no, I need to leave now. It isn't like I have anything to do. But even though I started, even though I started my fucking my outro, but it's a live stream, it's whatever. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the Cowboy Bebop live action stuff. Um, I'm not a gigantic Cowboy Bebop fan. I only really watched it in passing when I was a kid on like Adult Swim, so I can't sit here and say like this is a complete travesty to fans, like they're saying on Twitter. But for other stuff that they did, um, say like for other stuff that they did, like the Full Metal Alchemist movie and the Full Metal Alchemist live action movie that Netflix did, and the what was the other one? The Death Note. Those weren't. Oh no, it's fine, bro. I don't care. I'm not mad. It's only like 5:30. It isn't like it's 8 o'clock at night, so it's like, oh, I need to go sleep. I'm spent. It's not that or anything. But yeah, people go way too hard. People go way too hard at these directors over some like childhood shit. I don't really understand it. Is it snowing? Oh no, it looked like it was snowing. Looked like I saw snow on the ground, but I'm tripping. I think the Full Metal Alchemist one was. It was. I don't know how to say it. It wasn't like insultingly bad. It was just like funny bad. Like they tried a little bit too hard to be faithful, and certain things just didn't translate well. That's the kind of bad it was. Um, but in terms of this Cowboy Bebop stuff, the very small clips that they shown, like for like the hype stuff, and people just comparing it to other stuff, I was like, yeah, this is just gonna be another one of them, huh? And that's pretty much what it is. The Death Note one, the Death Note one is just goofy. Like people just need to calm down, right? They need to come to they need to come back to reality and realize, hey, you guys are acting like this is going to completely demolish the original work when it really isn't. Like, and then there's talks about a Berserk live action and all this other stuff, and I'm like, they're gonna keep doing it, so it's either just ignore it and don't pay attention to it, which is what you should do, is just not care and just be like, I'm just gonna watch the original. Like, that's all you really need to do. Like, I don't get sending people death threats because they made a bad version of a good thing. Like, they besmirched the good name of put X author here. No, they didn't. And here's the thing: if the motherfucker signed off on it, if he signed off on it first of all, and then got money out of it, it's his hands is wiped clean. He approved of it and whatever. Now I know there's some really weird crap going on with the Cowboy Bebop thing where they asked him for notes to put for what to do and all this stuff, and he gave them stuff to do and they didn't really listen and all this stuff. For that kind of stuff, that's kind of shitty. And for all the actors going on and saying all the crap that they typically do on social media now because they think they can just shit on fans, the people that are gonna watch it anyway. It's it's very interesting to see people getting upset, and I understand why people get upset, but getting upset to the point where you're telling people KYS or I hope this happens to somebody in your family or something like that. It's just dumb. Like it's childish and it just doesn't make sense. Um, but yeah, from what I heard, it's underwhelming and it's just bad. And I'm like, so it's like most other anime adaptations then, like American ones anyway. And people hate on the Ghost in the Shell one. I thought it was fine. Like the scenes that it did try to do, the Scarlett Johansson one, the scenes that it did try to do in live action, I feel like they did pretty well at. It wasn't just a carbon copy, which people say it's just a carbon copy. No, it's not, dude. There are scenes in that movie that aren't. There are scenes in live action that just aren't in the original. There are plot lines in the movie that don't apply to the original. They're two different movies with the same name. That just one has homages to the original. That's it. And that's why I don't necessarily have that big of a like hate boner for that movie because it's like it's fine. I say it's like a 6. I don't regret watching it or anything like that, but I do believe it's a fine movie. I just hope I just hope if this berserk crap is true, that they actually make an effort. You brought up the Voldemort of anime live action movies, bro. You brought up Dragon Ball Evolution. Yeah, they do. I really want them to leave Berserk, but they're not gonna do it. They don't care. They don't care that is his name Mura? I think it, I always forget. I'm sorry. I don't mean to forget his name. I'll look it up real quick just to. Yeah, it is Mura. I remember. Berserk author. Yeah, it's Mura. Kentaro Mura. I'm just making sure. I don't want to say something that's wrong. So yeah, the this Berserk stuff. If they do it, it's it's not even necessarily if it's when because they're gonna do it even if they don't do it now. I just feel like it's a bad leak to have the year that the author died. I think that's kind of where I'm like, especially when they're even questioning whether or not they want to continue it with someone that Miura would have liked to continue the story for him. So it's like, why even come out with that? It just doesn't really make sense to me. Why even allow that to leak? Like, especially when people don't really. The track record with their anime stuff is like not good. If the track record was good with their live action anime stuff, people wouldn't care. But it's not. Or if at least it was middling. But it's like Netflix really needs to think about that before getting into these deals. And if they get into these deals, they have to really lock down on the leakers, which I know is hard. It shouldn't be hard, but it's hard. Every company has issues with leakers, but yeah, this is just really it's really interesting. Next, they're gonna do what's another iconic ad? They're gonna do Yu Yu Hakusho next. Watch, and I don't want that. I don't want that. Yu Yu Hakusho, man. If they do that, who would they get as the villain? I always forget his name, but the main villain of Yu Yu, fuck bitch, villain of Yu Yu Toguro. Yeah, oh God knows, right? Or even like Inuyasha, like there not be. Yeah, Toguro. Yeah, I look, and you know that's the arc they're gonna do. They always go for the tournament arc whenever it comes to these like movies. Well, no, they went for Dragon Ball. They went with the Piccolo, the OG Dragon Ball shit where he's fighting Piccolo. But like, like I don't even know, like what is an anime that they can do that people would be fine with? Because don't touch Inuyasha, don't touch Yu Yu Hakusho, because those are ingrained in a lot of people. There was rumors about a One Piece one. I remember that. case closed. Uh, like I think anything that isn't like supernatural and stuff they can do because it's the problem when they have like because obviously they want to do all the the CGI heavy shit. Well, aside from Death Note, I guess Death Note wasn't like hugely CGI aside from I forget the character Willem Dafoe played. I wasn't huge into Death Note. Watch them do Bleach, but they're gonna do like yeah, it has to be like these very self-contained type of anime. It can't be like we go to this mystical land and all this stuff. We have to fight. We have to fight people that throw nukes on the battlefield, and somehow the main character just tanks it. You can't have that because they want it for trailers, basically. But even when you do that shit in like Hollywood, it just doesn't work because they don't get people that actually are passionate about the source material. Oh yeah, Rurouni Kenshin, Vagabond as well. Vagabond would actually work. Um, like samurai anime, Samurai Champloo can work. Um, Afro Samurai maybe. I don't know. Like they just gotta focus on doing it with stuff that's like very mellow in terms of like say action. Ooh, ooh, damn. Well, didn't Death Note have like a movie or two before they decided to make the Netflix one? So, how many movies that are already like preceding the one they're gonna make is not gonna stop them? Which is kind of unfortunate, but it's just the way capitalism works. If they want to capitalize on something, they will. They even made or even just make or take manga that don't have anime and make an anime out of it. Like they did that with Seven Deadly Sins, and Seven Deadly Sins worked. It got pretty goddamn popular. Um, there are plenty of manga that don't have anime that they can do that they don't have to do live action with. Like I don't know why Netflix, when they have an anime division that is pretty much well regarded, like in terms of their original anime, not their live action anime movies, it's they do pretty well, but they want to get into the live action because they think that's when people take stuff seriously, And I really hate that because it's the same with video games and video game movies. People don't start taking video game stories or video games seriously until there's a live action movie made out of it. No, then it's serious. Like God of War 2018 is great off its own merits. Why does it need a live action movie? Be, like I don't get it. I don't get this obsession with making a movie to make people take it seriously when every time someone makes a video game movie, for the most part it's just bad. Like I think there are very few good video game movies. And when they are good, it's just taking the concept of the character and taking the character itself and putting it in a new setting, like what Sonic the Hedgehog did. And Sonic the Hedgehog was like shockingly for what Sonic is, it was a fun movie. I don't want to say a good movie, but it was a fun movie, and that's what it needed to be. I don't need no heart wrenching, death gripping, serious story out of a fucking Sonic movie, bro. Like, it just needs to be fun. It just really needs to be fun. Like there are times and places for that stuff, and when people sit here and act as if everything needs to be one way, yeah, it was good. But the problem is that when you say something is good, people people like to take it as if it's on par with something like oh, I liked the Ghost in the Shell movie. I really did. Um, as someone that loves Ghost in the Shell, like where's it? Where's it? I have Blu-rays of Standalone Complex, the entire series, and the original movie on Blu-ray right here, and I have Ghost in the Shell 2 on my V60, 2.0 on my V60. So I'm a Ghost in the Shell fan, and as a fan, I thought that movie was good. People made all this stink about, oh, Scarlett Johansson is playing an Asian character, but Motoko Kusanagi is typically based off of is her model is based off an American look. Like, she's never looked Asian. She's only really had an Asian name. So I never understood that part of it. But you know, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that. That's a whole different story. It's a whole different conversation. But yeah, I thought the Ghost in the Shell movie was good. I have that live action on Google T. I think they call it Google TV now. But back when it was called Google Play Movies, I bought it on there, and I like it. It's a good movie, and I think it did well with the original story beats it decided to tell with it, the spin that they decided to take with it. But it wasn't insulting at all. And I don't think I ever heard anyone say it was insulting. I think I just heard people like comparing it to Blade Runner 2049, even though they're two entirely different movies, just set in a similar, backdrop. And I feel like the iconic scenes that they adapted, they did pretty goddamn well. Like, so it was very nice. A movie that I do like quite a bit. Not gonna lie about that. I should get that physically too. I do like the movie enough. When I went to AMC to see it, it came with this very nice poster that I wish didn't get messed up. But I'm gonna find it because that poster was sick, bro. Um, Ghost in the Shell AMC poster. Damn it. What I don't like about Android now is like it's very hard to. It's right here. It's literally this one. Came up first and lower it a little bit more. It was this one right here. I really liked this poster. It was very nice, and I'm mad that it just got destroyed. I don't know how it got destroyed, but if I can find if I can find like a digital version of that poster in high quality, I would use that as a wallpaper on a phone. Like that thing was nice. It was like when people shat on the Power Rangers movie too, the live action one. Well, yeah, I feel like way too many people like a lot of these movies you do have to see in a theater because I think a lot of people saw ghosting that movie way after the fact and didn't see it in the theater and like watched it on a plane or some stupid crap like that. And it totally messes with the experience. A lot of movies really do need to be seen in the theater, or unless you have a very nice home theater setup. Like, and I really came out of that and like I was satisfied, you know. And then when I saw the Power Rangers movie, it was the same thing. I was like, this isn't bad at all. Like, it wasn't a bad movie at all. Because when it first came out, people, when it was first announced, people, this is gonna be terrible, and they did it solely based off the designs of the Ranger costumes. But the movie itself was fine. Like, it was a fun watch. And then they redesigned the no, they actually didn't redesign the costumes. Actually, I'm thinking of Sonic. That's when they that's when they did that, when they redesigned Sonic. But yeah, even though the suits of the Power Rangers were very like weird looking to be like, oh, this is so bad. The movie was actually good. Like, I didn't mind it at all. I wish I could say the same about new Star Wars stuff, man, but or hell, even like new Phase 4 Marvel stuff, but I'm just not feeling it anymore. It sucks. Shang-Chi was just like the entire time I was sitting there like, why? Like, why does this exist? I mean, you know why it exists. They literally tell you in the marketing why it exists. Yeah, the fight scenes in the Power Rangers movie was nice. I was actually pretty shocked that it was that that stuff was as cool as it was. I was like, damn, okay. It came out, I was like, they did this really well. I was like, those are like two adaptations that were like nice. Like, and I think I prefer adaptations or remakes that are like not too much like the original, but like the original enough to where you can recognize it. Because when you just remake a movie scene to scene, like, but I already seen this already. Now you're just doing it with a different cast of characters and in 4K. Like, really? And somehow it's worse because you're using all this CGI. That's why those movies oh, that's my CD one. Over here. That's the God of War case, which has nothing in it. This is at the way bottom. So I'm looking for um the original Suspiria and the remake that came out, funnily enough, in 2018 as well. Because those were two entirely different movies, but both of them are good. One is like in 1974, like horror, and the other one is like modernized, but it tells an entirely different story. And I feel like it does a very good job at doing that and not completely taking a steaming shit on the original. Very much like Carrie, the Carrie movie was like, eh, like, because it was literally just beat for beat the same thing. And I was like, well, I could just watch the original though. Yeah, Power Rangers was that was a nice one too. I'm thinking of what, like, because a lot of people are hyped for all these new Disney shows coming out, right? Like, they're bringing back the X-Men '97 stuff, which I don't know how I feel about that with the kind of writers that they have on the team now. Yeah, It's just a lot of remakes now. It's either remakes or superhero movies, and I think I'm just out of my superhero thing now, which kind of sucks because I'm only 25 years old. I should still be almost 26. I should still be enjoying those movies, but I don't feel like they're doing them at near the quality that they used to. Like Civil War was probably the last Marvel movie where I was like, I could probably watch this again and still feel the same way I felt when I watched it in the theater. Um, Infinity War maybe as well, but yeah, they do. They really do. Um, why you think Stranger Things got so popular? Like Stranger Things got so popular because oh look, a vintage Ego box. Oh look, they're playing D&D and they're riding bikes through their neighborhood. I didn't see Ant Man and the Wasp. I only saw the original Ant Man. I thought the original Ant Man was actually pretty cool. Um, it sucks they didn't make more money, but they only really existed. They only really made them because they advanced the story, which fine. But they made, and I guess they also just made enough money. But I feel like a lot of the actors they get, well, before this before like Eternals and stuff like that, where they just decide, oh, we're gonna make male characters female and all this other crap. Um, I feel like they know how to pick actors that look like the characters, or that can play the character. Or if they don't look like the characters, they at least play the characters really well. While a lot of people don't really like MCU Spider Man because of a lot of dumb reasons, but there's some where I can understand. But they said it with Homecoming, literally the first movie. It was like, you're not even allowing the character to grow into himself, though. You're saying in the first movie, oh, he's relying on Iron Man and all this stupid crap. It's like, it's his first movie, bro. Like, he's like, he's basically nothing without the suit. That's literally what the movie is about. Teaching teaching Peter that he's more than just the fucking suit. And you don't see that because I don't know why. Because he's relying on Iron Man a little bit. Now, I never saw Far From Home, so I can't even talk about that. But I know some of that also deals with the fact that Peter no longer has Iron Man to rely on, so he has to figure stuff out himself, and that's what he does. I need to see that before I see No Way Home, though. But I feel like too many people are doing this. Like everything needs to be 100% comic accurate. I'm like, but they're not even telling comic stories though. They're taking this has been the MCU since the beginning, bro. They've taken characters from the comics, taken elements from certain stories, put them together, and then they made their own universe out of it. Civil War, the comic, is not the same as Civil War, the movie. Like Iron Man is basically the villain in the comic book, whereas both sides feel justified in the movie. Like, sorry, my one of my dogs is shifting around on the couch, but yeah, it's damn. It's been 2 hours 20 minutes. Yeah, I don't mean to get into this kind of rant type thing, but it's just crazy to me that it's just been this like I want Marvel Studios to do better. I feel like they're kind of coasting because they don't have a plan. Well, not because they don't have a plan, because their plan isn't clear. And literally everything in the marketing has to do with, oh, this is the first whatever race character, or this is the first this or that. And when they really should be focusing on telling people what these stories are going to be. Oh, me too. I'm sick of seeing the same characters too. I just wish when they bring new, I wish when they bring other characters, lesser known characters from the comics into the MCU, that they don't switch genders or make them a way that they're not in the comics. At least make them feel like they actually do in the comics. And not like one, like obviously not 100% identical because that's not what the MCU always did, but Cloak and Dagger, oh no. What about Inhumans? Did you forget about Inhumans? Oh man. Iron Fist was a flop too. It had some cool shit, but throughout the whole Netflix Marvel thing, Iron Fist was the weakest out of them. And it was kind of weird that the Punisher was better than Iron Fist, bro. I don't get that. Not because I don't like Punisher, but you wouldn't really expect that. And then the Defenders was cool. It was a fun watch. Oh, Inhuman. Oh, well, I never actually watched it. I've only heard what people said, but can you even find that anywhere? Why should it be on Google TV? Inhumans. Yep. Oh, it's on Disney Plus. Well, I'm gonna have to when I meet my homie to see Dune one of these days. I'm gonna have to have him sign into his shit because I don't have a Daredevil. Daredevil was, man. That was the height. Like that was the height of Marvel TV stuff. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage. At least season one of Luke Cage. Season two kind of was like it was kind of too samey. It was like, oh, they figured out how to get through his power, and then he figured out how to make it so that they can't get through his power, and you fight the last dude, and it's basically just a brawl, like, which I get is what Luke Cage is, but it was a little bit too samey. It didn't really feel like it advanced the character all that much. Did Jessica Jones have a second season? I don't think it did. I don't remember. I know Daredevil at least had three. But yeah, Daredevil was sick. Yeah, I feel it. It's not for everybody, especially since it took quite a bit to get to like the interesting parts. I can understand why some people fell off of that show. It wasn't like it definitely wasn't the best out of all the Marvel Netflix stuff, but I feel like for what the character of Jessica Jones is, it kind of makes sense as to how they handled the show. Um, which is nice. What else was there? That's like, cause then trying to think, what is like a oh yeah, Young Blade series. I think for Blade they really want to just stick to movies because now they're talking. Now the next thing with Blade is going to be another movie. I really would have liked to see Blade explored a little bit more because all the next Blade movie is going to be is just like slaying vampires. We had that for 3 movies, and like those two other like smaller movies that nobody talks about, but had those two that were pretty campy, but had their own charm, I guess you can say. Yeah, I really do think they should do some more interesting stuff with more characters. Like they're on on Hulu, there's a Hit Monkey series coming out, which is actually pretty interesting. I never thought they would actually try to utilize Hit Monkey of all characters because he's basically just an assassin monkey. What else can you do with that? But apparently they're doing something with it. Then they had that Modoc series on Hulu too, which I didn't see. I saw like clips of it, and apparently it's very like Adult Swim esque. So even down to the animation, which was kind of odd because I was like, huh? So Marvel's doing other stuff with other characters in a more mature way, but they're doing it with this side stuff. That's how they're gonna handle Deadpool because they're not truly committing to whether or not they're going to have Deadpool be in the MCU or if they're just going to be if he's just going to be his own contained thing within the X-Men, a part of his own series or part of his own movies and stuff like that. That's what's kind of difficult about all that stuff. I just noticed some of these keycaps on this keyboard, um, some of the indentations aren't clearly like sh- all the way like indented out to where you can actually see the full key, which is fine. It's not that big of a deal. Happens, but it's whatever. Yeah, this we'll see what happens because it's like I thought WandaVision was cool up to like the last few episodes, especially the last episode where she basically gets off scot free for. I don't know if people have seen it or not, but it's been the the damn show's been out for over a year. Put fucking Naruto in Fortnite. I forgot about that. Naruto's out of chakra, but he ain't out of options. Yeah, it's very crazy to see what goes on now. What'll go on. I forgot what I was even saying. But yeah, but she basically gets off scot free for holding a town hostage. It's kind of like, really? Really? As much good was in Falcon and Winter Soldier. It got a little bit corny towards the end. Then I don't know what else I. Then Shang Chi was just like fight scene exposition, and let's go, let's go do a flashback. Fight scene exposition flashback. Like it was so it was so basic. I think that was my main problem with that movie, and it didn't really feel like it was needed. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. This phone is like dying, so I gotta go. Thanks for coming by yet again. I really do appreciate it. I will try to do another stream like next week. We'll see. But yeah, have a good one, you guys.